Hello student, today we'll discuss more about coordinate geometry. As yesterday we have discussed how to locate a point on a plane paper, how to describe the position of table lamp on table or position of the wall clock on the wall. In all, what was the problem? We have to explain more from which is what the distance or from the edge you are taking of the left side, right side, from the top or from bottom. We have not mentioned. It is slightly difficult. So in the coordinate geometry some basic rules are made, so it will be easier to locate the point on a plane. So first, upon that plane we have to change into the Cartesian system. In the Cartesian system we have to draw the some lines and we have to make some basic rule. First, we have to draw on a plane the horizontal line, that is known as x-axis. This is the simply the number line you have used to represent any number on that. In the center there is a 0, that is called the origin. Right side all are positive number starting from 1 2 3 4 5, and left side negative number -1 -2 -3 -4 -5 etc. Now this is that what it is, horizontal line, it is known as x-axis. Now we have to draw one more line in that, that is the vertical line, and that is known as y-axis. If we move the horizontal line anti-clockwise, you will get the vertical line. In the vertical line also have the origin 0, and above the 0 are the positive numbers and below the 0 negative number. So both the lines if we draw them together, then your plane will looks like this, and this is called the Cartesian plane. Horizontal line x-axis and vertical line y-axis. These both the axes divide the Cartesian plane into 6 parts. You can see in the next this slide. Both the axes divide the Cartesian plane in 6 parts. You can see what are the 6 parts. 4 quadrant, the number I have given. The number we have to give it starting from topmost right and move it always anti-clockwise. So that is topmost right is 1, then second, third and fourth. 4 quadrant. Now what are the other two parts? Other two parts are the x-axis and y-axis, because the point can also lie other than these 4 quadrant, that can be lie the point on the x-axis or y-axis. So this is called that your Cartesian plane. So Cartesian plane is divided in 6 part, 2 axis and all 4 quadrant. Now some basic rules to represent or the sign conventions we have to use to locate the point. The first point, the x coordinate of the point is perpendicular distance from the y-axis measured along the x-axis. Means all the distance we have to measure from the origin. So first distance we have to measure from the y-axis, and that is known as x coordinate. It can be in the positive direction from the origin or it can be in the negative direction. And the x coordinate is also called the abscissa. This is the name you have to remember, x coordinate. X coordinate is what? The distance measured along the x-axis from the y-axis. Now the second, the coordinate of a point is its the y coordinate of a point is its perpendicular distance from the x-axis measured along the y-axis. It can be measured positive direction or negative direction. Positive direction above the x-axis and negative direction below the below the x-axis. And the y coordinate is also called the ordinate. And the third point you have to remember, in stating the coordinate of a point is the coordinate plane. The x coordinate comes first and the y coordinate second. It is the fixed rule. You can't change this. The first number, it is called the x coordinate, and the second number will be always y coordinate. This we are making the fixed rule, so it will not be confusion. That is the standard rule, so easily everyone can understand. It is generally we are explaining the first exercise. We have to say from which side you have to measure first, or from second which edge you have to measure first. But in the Cartesian plane we will make the fixed rule, that is the universal truth. So we place the coordinate always in brackets. So is it clear? The first coordinate we have to write for x coordinate, and second we write the y coordinate. And x coordinate is what? The distance of the point from the perpendicular distance from the y-axis, and y coordinate is the perpendicular distance of the point from the x-axis. So using above convention, you can on the basis of the distance we have measured in positive direction, negative directions, we can say the sign of the coordinate. What will be the sign of the coordinate of the point in different quadrant? You can see in the first quadrant, the both x coordinate and y coordinate will be positive, because in this quadrant both the distance will be measured in positive direction. In the second quadrant, the x will be negative, x quadrant will be negative, and y quadrant will be positive, because the distance measured from the y-axis for the second quadrant will be the negative, and the distance measured from the x-axis in the second quadrant will be positive. Third quadrant, both will be negative, x coordinate as well as y coordinate. And in the fourth quadrant, the x coordinate will be positive and y coordinate will be negative. So all these point we have to write coordinate of a point xy. We have to write the first coordinate, x coordinate will be abscissa and second coordinate will be ordinate. Now the coordinate of a point lie on x-axis are always x0. Remember it, because any point is lying on the x-axis, it is having the distance only from the y-axis, no distance from the x-axis. So no distance from the x-axis, so that will remain always 0. A point lie on x-axis, the coordinate of the point will be x comma 0, and it will not lie in any of the quadrant. Second, coordinate of a point on the y-axis are 0y. Here this point also, if any point lying on the y-axis, it will not lie on any of the quadrant, so its coordinate will be 0 comma y, and coordinate of an origin are 0 0, means that is where the origin of both the axes lie, that is its coordinate will be the 0 0, and generally it is represented by capital letter O. Now here one example, write the coordinate of point A, B, C, D. To check it, that coordinate of the point A, B, C, D, see that point A is lie in the first quadrant. To write the coordinate of its, first upon we'll measure the distance of the point A from the y-axis. See, from the y-axis it is at the distance of 2 unit. This will measure along the x-axis, and the distance of the point A from the x-axis is 3 unit. So the coordinate of the point A is 2, 3. Point B, observe where it is lie. It lie in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, so the distance of the point B from the y-axis is minus 4 unit. Why minus 4 unit? Because we are measuring in the negative direction, and the distance of the point B from the y-axis, from the x-axis is 5 unit, because it is, we are measuring in the positive direction upside. So its coordinate is minus 4, 5. Next, point C lie in the third quadrant. And remember it, in the first quadrant both have the same sign, positive, positive, and third quadrant have the both have the same sign, negative, negative. So see that distance of the point C from the y direction, from the y-axis is 5 unit. It is in negative direction, minus 5, and coordinate and the distance of the point C from the x-axis is minus 6 unit. So its coordinate is minus 6. So coordinate of C is minus 5, minus 6. And see that point D is lying in the fourth quadrant. The distance of the point D from the y-axis is 3 unit. It is in positive direction, so positive 3, and the distance of the D from x-axis is minus 5. So its coordinate is 3, minus 5. Now this question number 2 you have to solve. Write the coordinate of the point A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, P and Q. And also you have to solve that exercise 3.2. This you have to solve. Now see here, observe the point B lie on the x-axis. So what will be its coordinate? First we will measure the distance from the y-axis, 6 unit, and we are not moving anywhere from the x-axis, so its coordinate is 6, 0, or any point C lying on the y-axis. So we are not measuring any distance from the y-axis. So from the y-axis the distance is 0, and the distance from the x-axis is 6. So its coordinate is 0, 6. In this way you have to find for any of the axes. So you have to solve this question, this question number 1 and exercise 3.2. Thank you.